Hey everybody, Joseph Carson, 4-Player Podcast, and I'm here with Jeff Strain, Executive Director for State of Decay. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine, thanks.
Good. So what are we looking at today?
Sorry?
What are we looking at today?
We're looking at State of Decay. Mm-hmm. It is our open world zombie survival sandbox simulation.
It's really fantastic. It's basically a combination of kind of like, it's like a DayZ, but it has like Sims qualities to it, where you're like dealing with your NPCs. Can you explain some of that to us?
Yeah, our real focus is to build a simulation rather than a scripted game. It's an open world game, 16 square kilometers. Every building is open. You can go into any house, any structure, scavenge for supplies, and then you take those supplies and you start upgrading your base. You can choose your base site. You choose what facilities you want to build. You can build infirmaries, bunkhouses, research libraries, whatever you need to start pushing back the zombie threat. You rescue NPCs in the world, you earn their friendship, and then they come live with you in your community. And so ultimately what we're trying to do is give you the ability to live out your own survival plan.
Right. And all the NPCs have their own specific abilities, things that they're really good at, correct?
They do. Every NPC has its own traits, their own agenda often, and sometimes not only are you taking advantage of the good things they bring to the table, you're also having to deal with some of their issues.
Yeah, I forget, Steve, I think his name was. He was telling me about one character who was severely depressed.
Right.
So if he didn't get enough supplies, he would get very depressed, and he would end up leaving the compound.
Right, and often those will be matched. You know, sometimes you find somebody with some medical training that you really want to be working in your infirmary, but that person is an alcoholic, or that person has a really negative disposition, and so they're always, causing problems.
Tell me more about the world itself and the ability to go out and search for items, and then using those items back into the camp.
Right. So what we really tried to do is capture small town America. I mean, the idea is this could happen. And this could happen to you. We want you to be able to make that connection between this isn't a shopping mall somewhere, this isn't some big flashy city on a coast, right? This is hometown, and so every house contains the things that were there when the apocalypse happened. Hospitals will have medicine. Houses, you're going to be able to find all kinds of cool weapons tucked under the beds and gun cabinets.
I really like the combat. Speaking of like gun combat and all that kind of stuff, they were saying your combat coordinator or animator is sort of an MMA guy. So a lot of the combat melee moves have like these really eccentric sort of moves to them.
Richard Fogey, yes.
Yeah.
He's our combat designer, and he studies this stuff like a science. Not only studies it, but lives it. And so we really wanted to capture that feel of visceral combat, not just shooting from a distance, but when they get around you, and start swarming around you, you need to have those melee combat skills. And so, of course, we've got the classic collection. You've got, rusty machetes, you've got baseball bats, you've got golf clubs, whatever you can find in the world.
I was just using a broadsword, which is very cool.
The broadsword?
The broadsword is very nice.
You don't find a whole lot of those in life, right?
Right. But when you do,
somebody in this town was a sword nut.
When you do, it's very valuable, and you hold on to it as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, although I will say that weapons will break in this game, which is one of the reasons you need to build a workshop and find somebody who's crafty, so that overnight you can check it in and say, hey, repair my sword.
Right. And a lot of these sort of survival games, death is sort of handled differently. A lot of in these games you're finding persistent death. How is death handled in State of Decay?
In State of Decay, when you die, you're dead. The saving grace there is there's actually two things we do. First of all of the skills and abilities you learn as you go through the game accrue to your community, not just to that character. Right? So when the character dies, it's not like you've lost everything that you've ever accomplished with that character. But the other thing is that you can switch, if somebody's your friend, you can switch to playing that character at any time. And so when you die, you're going to take control of another character. And you just have to carry on the fight.
It takes a village, as they say.
Yes, it does in this case.
So one thing I was realizing yesterday is if you sort of neglect your community, and they all end up abandoning you, and you're the only one left in your base, you have no one left to switch to. So then death at that point becomes permanent. So it makes you want to take care of people.
So when you get in that situation, and you have to be in real dire circumstances for that to happen, some of the people who are your friends, it's going to be hard for them to leave you. They'd really have to be severely depressed, or you'd have to leave them in a situation where they get killed. But if you do wind up in that situation, we'll create a new character on the fly to be used. We're not going to kick you out of the game.
Oh, nice. So when can we expect to be playing this on XBLA?
So we're looking at a release early next year.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for talking to me.
It was great to meet you.
Check out more at 4playerpodcast.com.
All right.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.